was almost.
Gusto naman, Idol.
Okay, now we're live. Okay, so good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Pinoyathletics Track Talk Tuesday. Tonight we have our special guest, Mr. Coach Roel of BBG Run PH, also with Hoka One, and so one of the main organisers of the Davao, of the Hoka One Davao International 2021 marathon virtual event. We're going to also be joined by two members of the media, Mr. Bonk Alves and Mr. Brian Yalong. We also may have another member of the media from Davao joining us shortly. So it seems Roel may have a bit of connection issues here, but he'll probably be back shortly. So just explaining this event, the Davao International Marathon, it's a virtual event. It's shaped up to be probably the biggest virtual event, and it may be the biggest long distance running event of the year, depending on what happens to the Milo Marathon this year, which has been delayed an awful lot. I went through the entry list, and it's quite impressive because Roel has managed to amass 1,319 total entries in this tournament. Stats: 239 entries in the marathon men and women, 510 in the half marathon, and then the rest between the 10K and the 5K event. So, Roel, the first question I have is, how long has it actually taken you to put this event together? Because I can imagine an event of this size and magnitude obviously takes a lot of planning. I'll just repeat that question again. So, Coach Roel, I just mentioned how this event has, 1,319. I counted the total number of entries on your start list. So this sort of event would have taken a lot of time to plan with that many people entered to get to that many entries. My question is, how long have you and your team spent planning this event? Okay. I'll just, Coach, can you hear me?
So Brian, baka gusto mo pa in Cebuano. So how many yung time period of preparation for organizing this event?
Yung how many yung entries, Coach, tapos how hard was it to organize the event? Yung pag-organize, Coach?
Might be a...
Baka may lag kasi yung ano eh.
Yeah,
yung
it might be a lag.
Okay.
So far, yung Davao International Marathon, marinig sir? Marinig
yes.
Yung boses ko? Wala kasi.
Okay.
Di ko alam kung ako ang mahinang signal o.
Rinig ka namin, Coach. No problem.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, we hear you, Coach.
I can hear you.
Marinig?
Yes, Coach. Tuloy niyo lang, Coach.
Yung unang question is yung how many participants?
How long? Preparation,
Preparation.
Yung preparation. Yung paghanda kasi namin ito kasing virtual ginawa Davao International Marathon is already um last 2020 pa dapat to siya in actual. But in the pandemic come, dapat March last 2020 to. So na-postpone siya dahil pumasok si pandemic. President Duterte declare last March 13 to lockdown all over the Philippines. So yung race natin is Davao International in celebration of araw ng Davao dapat siya. Kaya lang yun na-stop. So almost one year din siyang natingga sa parang so kami ngayon nag-decide kami para matapos lang ginawa naming Davao in virtual ginawa na naming virtual run imbis actual sana siya. So nag-decide kami para matapos lang tong ginawa naming decide namin na gawing virtual run para at least yung mga participants natin that time maitakbo nila at matapos tong event na to. So ngayon nag-decide kami na gawing virtual na, so automatic lahat ng participant that time gagawin na nilang virtual run kasi last August last 2020 nag-invite din kami na mag-virtual up. There are 300 participants to call the invitation that DIM is going to virtual run. So hindi namin sila pinilit dahil kung sino lang yung gusto. But this year all lahat ng participants automatic na talaga silang to run the virtual run this time. Para matapos lang tong event na to, at least may pandemya pa rin tayo pero follow lang sila sa protocol by LGU kasi yung participants natin may all over the Philippines, mayroon tayong Mindanao, Visayas, and NCR. So, sa ngayon, yung participants natin na sasali dito ay mayroon tayong 1,300 participants na yan ang aabangan natin na mag-umpisa yung takbo nila this coming February 13 hanggang March 12. Yun yung running period nila. Then i-submit nila. Once na makatakbo sila, i-submit nila sa amin yung run details nila through GPS or any kind of GPS na re-record yung lahat ng time run details nila.
Pero coach, yung isa pa yata tinatanong ni Enzo kanina was, paano nyo na ganun karami ang entrance nyo? Nasa, I think, Enzo, am I right? Is around 1,300, I think?
I counted off the start list. I mean, if he said 1,330, he probably is correct because, it might have been more entries or something, but I might have miscalculated by a couple. But, he said 1,330, I said 1,319. So it's over 1,300 for sure. But he might have more updated information.
So yun coach, maraming araw yata na mabuti na paabot yata ng ganito karami.
Coach, ano mga
Hindi kasi yung participant natin is we have four distance, 42 kilometers, 21, 10K and 5K.
Ilang coach
So far yung pinakamaraming participants ano po?
Sa 42K, coach, ilan po? How many entries sa 42K?
310 participants.
Wow, marami pa rin pala. For the full marathon.
So dami.
Since nasa Mindanao area si Christine Halaso, kasama ba nag-register online? Coach Roel?
Yung Christine maybe nasa Nasa 21 kilometers siya participants. I think naka-register
okay.
siya sa 21 kilometers.
Okay.
So, that time kasi, isa siya sa, kung tatakbuhin niya to ngayon, nasa 21 less siya, 21K. So,
okay.
nasa 600, ano sila, 510 participants sa 21. 530 participants.
Kasi coach, since virtual run ito, hindi lahat ng terrain pareho. Anong mga terms and conditions nyo dun sa terrain? Kasi di ba some may be on flat terrain, some may be on rolling terrain. Paano nyo anong mga terms and conditions nyo sa running conditions?
In terms of terrain, sa lahat ng participants, buying for freebies or finisher, hindi namin sila inistrikto. So kung kahit anong terrain ang gagamitin nila, flatman o ma-uphill, basta mayroon silang run kilometer with distance nila, hindi namin sila inistriktohan dahil para lang matapos tong event na to. But in the competitive side, like 10-kilometer championship challenge, mayroon talaga kaming ginagawang three roles na in pair sa lahat ng participants na yung elevation nila ay dapat negative, talaga siya, then naka-video live sila in terms of from start to finish line. Inano talaga namin na dapat mag FB live sila sa 10 kilometers only, because I decide na from all participants, sa lahat ng gustong buying for the top price, because mayroon tayong binibigay na top runners, mayroong makukuha sila. So para ma-monitor namin, nagbigay kami ng 3 roles lang na madali ding i-comply sa lahat ng participants. But in the whole event, for the sake of the runners na for finisher, hindi namin sila ini-stricto. So run your own route, then submit the run details after nila matapos ang takbo nila sa kanya-kanyang mga kategorya.
So yung mga sa competitive category, dapat may video. Dapat may video sila.
Yes,
Coach
may
Roel.
FB live sila or video na ma-accredit namin na legit talaga yung takbo nila, na sila talagang tumatakbo with Strava. Kailangan Strava yung gamitin nilang apps para talaga yung ma-measure natin yung takbo nila, dahil sila lang nagkakaalam sa ruta nila. So base sa sinasubmit nila sa amin yung run details, doon kami mag-base kung sino yung top runners natin, male and female.
Coach, how is there a certain kind of app you're gonna use for this? May app ka bang gagamitin yung para ma-monitor to?
For the championship, the 10K championship, kailangan Strava yung gagamitin nila. Isang apps lang. Kung gusto mo talagang manalo or maging top sa Strava, kailangan magamit ka ng Strava apps. Then,
so yun lang.
Kung may Garmin ka man, kailangan mong i-connect. Wala na. Yan lang, isang apps lang ang ginamit namin para stick sila sa lahat ng para maiwasan din natin yung mga target lang sa isang apps.
Can I ask, when we were discussing prizes for this event, like what sort of prizes, what sort of amounts of the prizes for this event?
Prizes daw, Coach Roel?
Mga premyo.
For the buying for top in the 10K challenge, yun lang ang dinicide namin na bigyan namin ng prices para ma-monitor. Kasi yun lang ang madaling i-monitor, yung 10K. Dahil alam natin sa ngayon, competitive yung mga participants natin. So, ang 10 kilometers, doon lang kami naglagay ng top 5 participants, male and female. So, yung lahat, the rest, yung previous na ibigay ng bawat participants. For the 10K challenge, top male and female, mayroon silang makukuhang latest model ng Hoka shoes for the sponsor. So, yun yung ibibigay namin kung sino-sino yung mag-top, both male and female. Then, after hanggang top 5 yung binibigyan natin ng Hoka previous prices.
So, coach, meron, hindi ba kasi may mga may mga kumbaga yung tatawag natin yung sa mga actual races, mga dapat yung to make the cut in the 10 kilometers para to qualify to be at least get a certificate. Meron po din pa kayong ganun. Yung mga yung cut-off times, yes sir.
Ito sa actual mayroon tayong cut-off, but this time virtual run, no cut-off. You can run.
Okay.
Then if you finish the route, even the time is mahaba yung oras, no problem. Basta you run the complete distance, you sign up.
Okay, so no cut-off time.
No cut-off time. You run your own, then easy. Then, kasi di natin sila pwedeng pirsahin dahil sa pandemya ngayon, siguro, bihira lang sa 1,000 runners dyan. Swerte nang may 10% dyan na nag-train talaga ng araw-araw.
Sir, siguro opportunity nyo na rin sir, Coach Roel, na to mention the supporters besides the one you've already said, para at least makapagbigay tayo ng konting publicity mileage sa kanila. Who are your sponsors for this particular virtual event? Your support, mga sponsors nyo, sir.
Sana ang major sponsor sana natin ito, kung hindi lang sana actual lang sana tayo, is the Davao City government. Sila sana.
Pero it's a virtual brand, sir, ba? Baka you might like to mention it. Yung mga, besides yung na-mention niya na po already, para at least mabigyan po natin sila ng virtual publicity din.
Yeah.
So, ang pinaka natin dito ay, ng event na to ay organized ni BBG Run Events, Basta Bisaya Gahi. So, yun yung nag-organize this event. So, in the partnership of Hoka, Hoka Uni-Uni, sila yung, but this time, dahil naumpisa namin kay Hoka, sila rin ang matapos tong event. Hoka and Gatorade, sana papasok din si Gatorade dito. Kaya lang virtual kasi mahirap ang paano sila mag-insert dahil dapat sa actual nandoon sana sila. So but with the time the Gatorade Philippines, the Pepsi products, sila yung partner natin sa hydration, and Nature Spring, sila yung official natin hydration water support. Then Garmin Philippines, sila yung sana magbigay hindi natin alam, magbigay din sila sa top runners natin sana, dahil sila ngayon ang partner natin.
May basahin lang ako, coach, na question galing kay Ivan Saldahenyo, kaibigan ko, yung mga tatakbo, required ba silang tapusin yung distance kung ano man sinalihan nila within the day? Sa isang araw, or pwedeng few days?
Pwedeng chop-chop, pwedeng tigi-tigi. Basta isang beses lang nilang isend yung run detail nila sa length. Pwedeng thrice, pwedeng single, pwedeng twice. is up to them to to finish the course.
Tapos open to kahit kanino, no, coach?
Open yan sa lahat ng DIM participants only. Na lahat ng
Okay.
naka-registered na siya.
Yung previous participants, sir. Sir, bago magkaroon ng pandemic, maybe you can describe yung Davao running scene, yung road racing scene natin, for example, how many running events during the weekend, how many participants nung bago mag-pandemic, how active was the local running scene in Davao before the pandemic? How many events would you have in a certain week? How many participants? Yung mga ganun ba? Almost
So
every week
far,
was
bago
pandemic.
tayo nag-lockdown, dapat yung nasunda ng event na to ay mayroon tayong participant sana na aabot ng 2,000. Mga 3 to 5. So, ganun sana ka-active yung mga Dabawin nyo sa running activities. Kasi yearly kasi every araw ng Davao, inaabangan na nila yung events natin. So, sad to see na dumating si lockdown, lahat ay parang nadismaya. But so far, ganun talaga, nangyari na eh. So, na lang, kung ano yung tapusin na lang natin.
Nung ano ba, sir? Nung bago mag-lockdown, mga ilang mga races on the average ang nagaganap sa Davao? Bago mag-lockdown, mga 2 every weekend, 3 every weekend. Gaano ka-active, sir, yung running scene dyan?
Sa Davao, sir, every weekend, sir, may organizer doon, sir. Active ang mga organizer doon, sir, na parang halos sa isang buwan, 3 beses silang tumatakbo. May mga ganun na pagkakataon doon.
Baka si Sir Brian may tanong.
Ano ko lang. Is yung parang, ano yung coach, di kayo nahirapan yung transition. Nagsimula tayo, dapat talagang, di ba? Yung totoo. Tapos nag-virtual. Tapos it took you months, kumbaga buwan talaga bago nyo, paano yung, describe the process. Ano mong kinonsider nyo bago nyo nilipat sa virtual?
Una, kinonsider namin na gusto ko sana talagang actual kasi masaya ang actual eh. Kaya pinilit namin na wag mo nang maglabas during that time kasi akala namin 3 months mawala na si COVID.
Yes.
So that time nag-decide kami na kasi yung mga runners araw-araw na ano nang status ng event. So by after 3 months the lockdown, nag-decide kami na kung sino lang gustong mag-virtual or hindi namin sila pinilit kung sino lang. So may sumagot, may tumakbo ng mga 3 to 400 participants. So yung takbo nila August to September yung takbo nila. So naganap may mga 400 na sumali that time, nag-transfer to virtual. So, umasa kami na by December matapos. Pero, para maging actual. Kaya lang, sa natin, wala pa rin. So, nag-decide kami na para matapos na tong event kasi nag-allow na yung mga local na pwede nang lumabas, pwede nang allow na yung running. Kaya ngayon, dinicide na lang namin na para at least yung ibang mga participants na nag-antay ng actual, wala pa mga actual. So, this is the time na makatakbo na rin sila dahil mayroon silang run na activities na mga ganap. So, ito na lang binigay namin para at least yung inaantay nila, habang wala pang ibang mga run, ito muna yung nila, yung nakita namin na ma-convert yung attention nila. So, nag-finalize na kami na this is the time na tapusin na tong event na to through virtual.
Enzo?
Can I ask, with this event, I've just had time to momentarily skim through the entry lists. Obviously, there may have been additional inquiries that I may have overlooked, but can you just give us a brief hint of who, or a brief summary of who the stronger or favourite runners are in this event? Like I saw George and Andrade down on the start list in the men's. Marathon, and I believe that he's a one-time Milo Marathon surprise champion a few years ago. So George Andrade is down on the start list for the men's marathon. Can you also tell us who else is lined up? You did mention before that Christine Halasco was down for the half marathon in the women's. Who else is someone else to watch out for in this event? Who are the athletes that we'll really watch out for in this event? You might want to rephrase that for me, Brian.
Sino daw malalakas Coach Roel? For example, besides sa Lasco, sa 21K, 42K, sino mga medyo malalakas na mga runner, yan.
Kung sasali ngayon kung gagamitin talaga ng tatakbo siya sa virtual, in the men first, I think nakita ko former Milo King, George Andrade, kasama siya sa list. Then from Mindanao, Arlan Arbues, the top 10 last year Milo. He prepared this event. Then the last 10K champion from Iloilo, I think he is the big, because he is the Alpechi Brasa, because he is so far his time is in terms of in 10K events, I think he is the number one bit. Then from some other from Mindanao, like the former, I think Sunny Wagdos is I try to because he is also in the list, but he did not confirm that he willing to join this race.
Coach, I also saw the name of
female, Christina Lasco, then from Jinsan.
Coach, I also saw the name of Noel Taylor on the list. Like he's a kind of a veteran athlete who's been a top 10 finisher in Milo a couple of times.
Yes, sir, si Noel daw yata, yung veterano.
Noel Taylor.
No key?
I saw Noel Taylor's list name down for the 21K.
Wait, let me see that. Let me check that.
Noel Taylor.
Noel Taylor?
Yeah, I think he's been top 10 in Milo like quite a few times. He's quite a veteran runner.
I think he did not in the list.
Oh, okay. I thought I saw it gone down for 21K, but okay.
No, I don't see it. Enzo.
Okay, I thought he was down for the 21.
No.
For additional dahil lahat ng register ka, even you are registered in 42, 21, 5K, 10K, you can join the 10K championship if you are participant in this event. So it's matter you are registered in 42, but you can join this 10K challenge because everybody can join this. There is another link before the event. March 7 is the competition date. March 6 or 5, there is a link that all participants this event can register. So the finalist is not over for join the 10K challenge. So it's open to all Davao international participants.
Can I ask as well, another question is with the running of your event, how many people have you got helping organize this event? Like you did mention that you had, other members of BBG Run Philippines helping with this event. How many of you are organizing this event?
We have
Bali
four,
ilan?
we have four who manpower to to assist to answer all the details of the runners. We have four in the teams to assess all the participants details.
It sounds like a lot of work. It's
Yeah.
just only
Well, actually, it is. I was gonna ask. Coach, for ganun karami, kaya na, no? Nung the 4? Kaya na ng 4?
Yes sir, kasi based on the run details we submit through email, through the link. So hindi naman din sila sabay-sabay kung sino lang yung, kasi kaya nga tayo 1 month yung running period nila. So as sa 1,000 hindi sa swerte na may 100 na magpasa ng run details nila. Kasi 1 month yung duration eh. Maliban lang yung lahat ng isip nila ay tatakbo sila 1 week before the closing period. So yun yung madugo. Madugo talaga siya sa sa tingnan natin, madugo talaga siya pag magsabay-sabay sila. Kaya binigyan namin ng 1 month duration yung run period nila. Para mabigay natin yung run details talaga nila na accurate.
So ano yung coach habang nangyayari, parang nakatabi rin pero naka yung table na nagmo-monitor?
Yes sir.
Na.
So halimbawa, Feb 13 may tatakbo na 50 diyan. Magsisend sila ng run details nila. Nakaano na 'yon. Pag halimbawa tatakbo ako, isisend ko yung running details ko, naka-ready na yung certificate mo. Ano yung oras mo, ibibigay ko yan sa'yo ngayon. So, mayroon na tayong pattern doon, i-insert na lang yung oras nyo, yung pangalan mo, yung picture mo. So ay ano ko lang pala, sir, additional pala sa lahat ng finishers, ito yung previous ni sponsors maibibigay natin. So, pag natapos nila yung run details nyo, may makukuha kaagad kayong Davao International Water Bottles, isang tuwalya na mapangpunas natin, at saka yung pag 42 finishers ka, makukuha mo to. So ito yung motivation ng participants na tatakbuhin talaga nila ng tama yung ruta nila para hindi naman sila mapahiya sa finishers na makuha nila. So ito yung may medal sila sa mababang kategory naman, yung 10K. Yung pula pala, 42 finishers to. Then ito naman sa 10 kilometers, so pag natapos nila, ito rin ang makukuha nila, may kasamang water bottles at saka medal. Yung medal naman nila, so pag natapos naman nila, ito yung makukuha nila. So nasa kanila yon kung honest nila, tatakbo talaga nila yung ruta na sila ang tumatakbo, kasi hindi naman natin alam sa dami nila. Nagbibase lang talaga kami sa run details na isa-submit nila through the link na binibigay namin.
Pero
Sir Bo.
Coach Roel, pag ginamit mo Strava, mahirap dayain yun, di ba?
Yeah.
Pag gumamit
Bisa
ng Strava,
namin sa yung analyze lang yung kung hindi ka, kasi si Strava alam niya kung mandaya ka eh. Lalabas doon na there's some problem in your in your pace. Kung Strava tapos sumasakay ka ng bisikleta, alam niya eh. So, mahirap dayain.
Kaya nga, sir.
Maliban lang kung ibang tumakbo. Ibigay mo sa yung Strava mo, lahat ibang tumakbo.
Yes, sir.
May mga... Pero kung naka-video ka, gamit mo yung Strava, makikita ka talaga. Then, base sa analysis, makikita kung may something wrong. Ganun si Strava.
Yung coach screen, nakita ko dito sa rules show, it's screenshots, di ba? Screenshots yung kunin nila. Ibibigay nila sa inyo.
If you run,
Hindi ba,
yeah, after,
sige, go ahead, coach.
pag Strava kasi sir, naka-registered ka. So, pag may reklamo, pwede kitang Roel, pag may reklamo ako, pwede kong i-search yung pangalan mo. I-click ko yung
Okay.
Strava mo na run details. Lalabas yon kung kahit naka-screenshot siya, lalabas yon dahil naka-registered ka sa Strava.
Yeah.
Kaya,
Kasi, di ba,
yun
coach,
lang nakita
uso
ko.
ngayon yung mga, yung pwedeng dayain, di ba? Pag mga screenshot, pwedeng mga dayain.
Oo,
at least
pwedeng na lang dayain. Pero kay Strava, di nila pwedeng ganun. Kasi, pag may something wrong, walang lalabas sa'yo eh. Blanco yung mo, dark eh. Pero pag tunay yung Strava mong ginamit, ikaw yon, lalabas yung pag i-click yung Strava, kaya mayroong Strava, may naka-registered talaga yung tunay mong pangalan. Kaya yun ang ginawa namin, kaya dinicide namin na sa 10K para at least doon kami nagbigay ng price kasi yun lang pinakamadaling i-monitor. Kasi yung 42 ang hirap eh. Hindi ka pwedeng mag-FB live buong 4 hours, 5 hours. At least yung 10K 35 minutes may kaya mong i-FB o i-video. Kung gusto mong manalo talaga na walang question. Kaya yun yung dinicide namin na yun ang pinaka mainam na madaling i-monitor based sa experience namin ginawa.
Enzo, or Sir Bong?
Yeah, I was gonna this is sort of like on a tangent, but it's still about the event. I noticed as well as Christine Halasco entering this competition, I saw there are other members of the Organiza family also in the start list as well. There's quite a few members of her or her husband's family joining this event. So there's quite a few organizers in the event. Because I went through the start list. Especially there was one in the women's I think in the women's 21K. Maybe that needs to be rephrased by one of you guys. But I was just saying that members of Christine's husband's family are also joining this event. I saw that in the start list.
May mga coach, yung may mga family. Iba mga mag-asawa, yung pamilya sumali rin sa list, marami rin bang ganun?
Mayroon sir, lalo na sa listahan natin, mayroong pamilya diyan, may mag-ina, mag-ana, mag-asawa. Lalo na sa 42 kasi banding time nila. Sa Davao kasi uso yung yung banding every weekend. So pag based on the list, mayroon tayo diyang mga mag-asawa, may magpinsan. May running club pa nga sir eh. Isang running club diyan, mayroon tayong pinakamarami diyan sa running club, nasa 40 plus participants sila. Yan yung ginawa nilang banding time. Kasi dumadayo sila every weekend.
Ayos. So parang healthy rin. Paano, coach, yung tanong ko is sa health, wala naman kayong protocols for that? Kung mga health checks or something? Especially now, medyo...
may waiver kasi tayo, sir. May waiver.
Waiver.
Lalo na yung sa actual. Nagbibis kami sa waiver. At saka pag participants naman talaga, 42, alam mo naman talaga na healthy talaga yung sumasali dyan.
Mhm.
Kaya yan lang yung mga di natin mga inasahan, yan man lang kalaban natin diyan yung mga di natin na unexpected na pangyayari. Pero based sa ano talaga sa porsyento talaga ng mga participant, healthy talaga yung mga yan. Well prepare yan sila bago sumabak, bago nagpa-registered.
Okay. So, yung resulta nito, parang nandiyan na talaga. Pagkadating ng, nung isa March 13, yun na yung kung ano yung listahan, yun na yun. Yun na yung mga nanalo.
Yes, sir. Irarank na natin yung ano nila, sir, yung run details nila. Base sa pinasa nila, ha? Kasi doon lang tayo nagbe-base, eh. So, di natin maano kung legit yung pinasa nila kasi lalo na sa for previous for fun, hindi namin ini-stricto yun kahit naka-treadmill ka, basta 42 yung tinakbo mo. Wala. Hindi na. Basta matapos mo lang yung run details natin, ibigay namin yung dapat makuha mo.
Okay, I'm good. Enzo or Sir Bong?
So Bong's on mute, but that's all right. Okay.
It's about the questions that I have.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. I'm just checking my notes.
It's okay.
But if you've got another question, fire away, because I'm just I can't really find anything on my notes. Because I think I'm out of questions almost.
Right.
Oh yeah, my next question actually was for you, Coach. After this event, when was your next planned virtual event after this one?
Me?
Tapos,
For me yan, for me.
Tapos coach nitong event nyo, meron ba tayong nakaplanong mga susunod?
Yes, sir. We have next virtual run, my birthday run. Because every year I have a birthday run during my birthday weekend. Every March, yun yung birthday ko, naka-pitong edisyon na tayo. So this time, I decided to virtual run na siya at my age 44. So the title is BBG 44 because 44 na po ako that time. So nag-title ako ng Roel birthday run 44 kilometers. But I decided na para everybody mabigyan ng tsansa, nagbigay ako ng 5K for the beginners, for the family, then 10K for the intermediate, and 21 and 44 kilometers. So the running period from March 20 to 25, 5 days lang, 6 days lang yung binigay nating duration for the participant na gustong tatakbo this virtual event. After Davao International, yan yung next. So pag natapos mo yung event 5K, 10K, 21 or 44, ito yung makikita mo yung suot ko. Lahat makukuha nyo to kung mag-participants kayo. Maliban dito, may medal tayo at saka may finisher shirt. Then nag-decide ako for the elite para yung mga elite natin na willing nang nag-antay na sa actual run pero wala pa ring actual run, nag-decide din ng organize na we have 10K Coach Roel Challenge. So this time, mayroon tayong cash prize para eager talaga yung mga participants natin na papaghandaan talaga nila yung event na at least mayroon silang previous na after sa mga masipag na runners natin, maingganyo sila na sasali because we have top 3 prizes na ibibigay. Maliban sa sponsor natin, mayroon tayong pakas. This event only the 10K championship pareha sa March 2021. March 21, 6 a.m. siya gaganapin sa lahat ng gustong sasagot sa challenge natin. So, Yun yung next in line nating event. BB44, Coach Roel, birthday run.
Anong month to, Coach, kung birthday nyo? Kaya alam, mabubuka yung birthday nyo.
March 25 po, pero yung run period natin, March 20 to 25.
Okay, 3 days. Yung ano nyo.
Anim.
Okay. So, natin nagkakalayo.
Pero yung championship challenge natin sa 10K ay gaganapin sa March 21, 6 a.m. po. So, same pa rin yung rules natin. Magbibideo sila o FB Live, Strava, then isubmit nila yung run detail pa rin sa link na ibibigay namin.
Alright. Interesting. Busy, Coach, ha? Busy kayo, Coach, ha?
Buti yan.
Hindi naman yung mga tauhan natin sila yung nag-handle eh. Tayo ay nagpo-promote lamang. At saka at least after sa event, mayroon na naman tayong mabigyan kahit pa paano mga beneficiary natin kasi yan yung goal natin. Pag mayroon tayong malikom konti, may maibibigyan tayong mga bata or mga sino yung naka-decide na beneficiary after the event. Na at least sa birthday ko, mayroon tayong, yan na yung 8 years ko nang ginagawa, mayroon tayong pinipiling beneficiary na kahit pa paano, may maiabot tayo sa kanila.
I see. How are you, Enzo? Or Sir Bong?
It's okay. Okay na ako.
Yeah, Enzo.
I'm good. It was very. We covered the event very thoroughly, I think.
Right. So,
Sir, kayo naman sir, nakailang marathons na kayo, full marathon na kayo, Coach Roel? Just for information, nakailang full marathons nakatakbo kayo? Saka anong personal best
Sa full marathon naman po sir dahil from since high school, elementary days to until now, yan talaga yung battle cry natin sir, takbuhan. Diyan tayo nabubuhay. Diyan tayo nakapag-aral ng libre. So, yung tanong mo na how many, di ko na mabibilang sa tanda ko na ito, 44 years old na ako.
Pero yung personal best yun sir sa marathon, personal best time sa 42K.
42 sir, kasi yung best time ko siya 3:06. Pero ano yun sir, kasi yung ensayo ko that time ay Wukatoner kasi ako sir, yung sa varsity ako, Wukaton yung event ko.
Okay.
So, pag in terms of marathon, iba yung training namin eh. So, yun lang talagang best ko. Yung during that time na yung sumasali kami every weekend. So, then nasikat yung ultra marathon. So, sumali. Nag-umpisa yung alam mo yung BBM Bataan Beat March Ultra Marathon, doon kami naging yung mga addict na talaga sa marathon, nag-ibig na sa ultra marathon yung 102 kilometers.
Kilala ko yan.
Yun na yung mga experience natin. So kung alam mo yung sino yung pioneer sa Bataan Beat Marathon, kami yun. Kami yung mga unang mga baliw na tinatawag na almost 100 kilometers yung tinatakbo.
Ultra marathon para sir, di talagang fit na fit.
Yung bago mag-lockdown sir, 56, ngayon 70 na. Kilos.
Coach, ano pala last question ko? May require mo ba sila mag-mask or something? Di ba mga protocols ngayon? May kailangan pa bang?
Yes sir, require sir dahil number 1 protocol sa bawat LGU ay naka-mask bago ka lalabas sa bahay, wear your mask. But along the road kung safety yun sila, wala namang sa kanila, nasa kanila na yun, but number 1 rules natin, observe protocol, LGU protocol.
Okay. Yun. Yun baka kasi may iba, di ba? Medyo mahirap ba huminga eh, di ba? Pagka baka
Mahirap talaga sir, mahirap talaga. Pero yun nga, kasi protocol siya, lalo na sa
hirap
public,
pa.
lalo na okay lang kung subdivision yung tinatakbuhan nyo, lugar nyo na walang pero yun lang, number one natin pinakita talaga na observe protocol, LGU protocol.
Hindi ba magiging yan? Kunwari, merong hindi magganon for disqualification? Di ba
Hindi sir, hindi tayo. Wala sir, wala. Kasi sa kanila na din yun nasa kanila yung paano nila i-observe yung protocol natin. So kung safety naman sila, wala namang sila lang yung tumakbo, sa kanila na yon.
Okay. Alright.
I'm good, Andrew.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Me too.
Maraming salamat po, Coach, for
Yes, Coach, thank you.
being with us. And hopefully, very successful po itong marathon po ninyo.
Yes.
All the best.
So, we'll keep you
Salamat
updated.
pala
with
sa
the
inyo,
results.
Sir Bong. Sir Brian, salamat. Nice to meet you.
Yes,
Sana
Coach.
magkakita tayo sa actual pag okay
Yeah,
ng panahon.
Yes, sir, pag nagpunta ng Davao. Saan ba kayo,
Yes,
sir,
sir.
naka-base ngayon?
Ah,
Saan kayo naka-base ngayon, sir? Davao din?
Quezon City, sir, dahil wala tayong mga ngayon.
Kalapit ka sa akin, Cavite lang ako.
Nasa Quezon City Beach ako ngayon, sir. Habang hindi pa nag-open yung sports natin, dito muna kami sa Quezon City.
Oh.
Coach, may pahabol na tanong before we end siguro. Si Ivan na naman. Meron bang selfie challenge of sorts para makitang tumatakbo sila?
Oh,
Mayroon, sir, may sapatos tayong pamimigay sa kanila, sir. Best selfie challenge. Yun yung dinicide namin, magbigay kami ng challenge, pero inunahan nyo na eh. Dapat yan, ilalabas namin a week before. Kaya lang, naunahan nyo eh. So, nice question, Sir Ivan. Galingan nyo yung selfie nyo. Galingan nyo yung selfie nyo na naka-pismas kayo, naka-face-shield, mga ganon. So, sana kayo ang manalo. Mayroon tayong gift pack from sponsors about sa mga challenge na about ganyan.
Good question. Good last question.
it was a good last question.
Right. And so yours.
Napahabol. Imbes sekreto sana yun.
It was a good last question. I'm just
Pagalitan ko, Coach. Pagalitan ko, Coach, gusto nyo. Kilala ko. Kilala ko yan, pagalitan ko.
Okay lang yun. Kaya nga nandito tayo para masagot yung mga question. Salamat, Andrew. Sir Andrew, salamat for this
Thank you for joining us,
Thank you,
Roel,
sir.
and
Thank you, Coach.
give the opportunity.
us about your event.
Makilala ko yung
And
dalawang
we look
magkamukha
forward to seeing how the results go.
Kapatid kami niyan. From a mother.
Magkapatid pala kayo.
Anwood proud.
Ayos lang yan. Sports writers are just one big tribe.
Correct kayo dyan, Sir Bong. Yeah.
Sana balang araw pupunta kayo sa Davao, dalawa, sir, ha?
Oo naman,
Yeah,
sir.
yes.
Sana magkaroon tayo ng banding doon.
Oo ba? Yes, sir.
Oo,
Basta wala
next
na-
year. Next year.
Pag
Yeah.
lalaki,
Next year.
mag-back to
lahat
normal
tayo
tayo, sir.
vaccinated.
Pag mag-back to normal tayo, sir, punta kayo sa Davao. Pag may Davao, kasi yearly dapat to eh. Kung normal lang tayo ngayon.
Next year, sir. Lahat na tayo halos naka-vaccine.
Sana, sir, sana.
Yeah. True.
Yes.
Yan. Pag may vaccine na, sir, pag allow na tayo, kita-kit sa Davao. Marami tayong durian doon at saka marang. Mangustin. Papagayo, sir.
Coach Roel, yellowfin tuna. Yan.
Yun! Naku!
Jinsan yan, sir, ha? Jinsan. Jinsan tayo, sir. Jinsan, pagtuna. Basta Davao, durian tayo, durian.
Saka rambutan. Yan. Vegetable. Fruits and vegetables.
Durian,
Para at least
something will be yellow if it's durian. It may be yellow taste.
Yellowfin tuna.
Oh. Thanks, Andrew.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thanks,
Okay,
guys.
done.
Andrew.
Bye.
Thank you, Coach. Everybody,
Good
God
night,
bless.
Bye-bye.
everybody. Good night.
God
Good
bless, God
night.
bless.
Basta
Night.
Bisaya, gahi.
Good night, night.
Oh, sige, sir. Mayong gabi. Good
Maayong
night.
gabi sa
God
tanan.
bless you
Good
all.
night.
Right. Okay. Yep. Yep. Okay.
All right.
So thanks, guys, for joining us. That sort of brings us to the end of tonight. I'm very interested to see, how performances go at this event. Obviously, um, virtual event. It's like a little bit difficult running solo versus running with a pack. So there could be challenges there, but like a high number of entries, bound to get some quite outstanding performances out of that many. All right, thank you, and
All right. Right.
thanks,
See ya.
Brian.
See ya.
I'll bid
See
you
you,
good
Andrew.
night, and I'll
Night.
just wrap up with a few other things, but
All right.
I know you've got some work to get back to,
All
so
right.
I can hear you
All right.
typing away.
All
So
right.
thanks
See you. See you.
again, Brian. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, so I'll just wrap up the last part of my of this presentation. So now, there was a couple of other things I was going to cover, and it shouldn't take more than 10 minutes max. So the first thing is that I wanted to bring up is Sprintopia event. The Sprintopia event. So everybody else is concentrating on long distance stuff. Obviously, Patafa, Coach Roel, talking Chinoy, Jason, maybe Rio soon as well. They're concentrating on their long distance. So Pinoyathletics has decided we're going to focus on virtual sprint events. So we've already had 3 of them. This is actually our 4th virtual event and our 3rd virtual sprint event. It's called Sprintopia, and I'm going to bring up the information on it in a moment. I'm just going to just get some information on that event for you, for my beloved viewers. Just trying to find where I put the thing. Oh, there it is. Awesome. There we go. So this is Pinoyathletics' sprint event, Sprintopia. It'll be held from the 13th to 14th of March. The event choices for male and female is 100, 200, and 400. Please email your name, your event choices, your year of birth, your best time, and the venue of the oval being used. Now, it's important we adhere to the COVID standards, and and believe that in certain parts of the Philippines, certain ages are not allowed in and out of the house. Allowed out of the house to go outside. So it's important that all the rules of the LGUs are adhered to when it comes to the COVID safety issues. So this event has no entry fee. There's no prizes and there's no entry fee. We're going to have age categories: under 17, under 20, open, and masters. Please email the above details to pinoyathletics@gmail.com by no later than March the 10th. Late entries will absolutely not be accommodated. We're not accepting hand times. We require full videos with a clear view of start and finish, preferably on ovals. And if they're not on ovals, we want some assurance of accurate measurement is being used. If the performances are doubtful, meaning that we end up with performances which are way quicker than what the athletes, or a lot, quicker or way quicker than what the athletes usually run, then they'll be asked to repeat the videos and send them again. So that's the Sprintopia event. Now I'm going to do a quick shout out to everybody who, showed us love and basically came and watched the show tonight. So these are the people we're acknowledging. So firstly, to Bon Pedralves and Brian Yulong, our media friends, and also to Coach Roel for joining us tonight. Hubert Dalba, Jovan Verga, Giefred Magadan, Delio Somatan, Sarah Evan Tolentino, Nard Sandy Grincio Mocking Orfeano, Cardano Mayan, Jirix Quintanillo, Lemo Eugenio, Elaine Diganot, Natiksuk Itano, Maria Diaz, Erica Casimiro, BR, Brittany Monte, Alban Kalisic, Cherry Javelina, Jenny Rosalard, 3B Hoops, Giant Martin Esteban, Markovin Revilia, George Aberes, Noamish Makud, Zoran Alfonso, Virgil Archangel, Keith Reyes, Maria Me Ablando, Mon, and Rosemarie Parandos. So the next thing that I would like to cover in my list of, my bucket list is we're going to be talking about, Ernest John Obiena, who will be competing within the next 12 hours in Leuven, France, against probably the toughest field that he's ever faced. This is by far the best field of male pole vaulters assembled in the last 12 months. I'll be sharing with you now the start list for who EJ's actually up against. So that's the start list. So in the start list, we have 11 competitors, 9 of them who have personal bests above EJ's personal best. Among the start list, so the event will take place at 19 hours and 40 minutes, or 7:40 in the evening in France. I'll just quickly check the time zone. So that's in around 5.5 hours. The men's pole vault will kick off in Leuven, France. So the competitors in the men's pole vault are Armand Mondo de Plantis, the world record holder in the men's pole vault, Renaud Lavelleni, the former world record holder in the men's pole vault, and the 2016 Olympic champion. We also have in the field Sam Kendricks of the United States, the world champion in 2017 and 2019. Also in the field is Tiago Braz, the Olympic champion in 2016 from Brazil, EJ's training partner in Italy. Let's go back to the big, put that back on the big screen again. We have Piotr Lesik, European champion, Christopher Nilsen of the USA, who jumped 5.95 last week, Matt Ludwig of the USA, the NCAA champion, Jacob Wooten of the USA, Valentin Lavelleni, the younger brother of Renaud, of course, the Philippines' very own Ernest Obiena, the World University Games and Asian Games, or Asian champion in the men's pole vault, in the Southeast Asian record holder, and also finishing the field is Ethan Comont of France. So it's probably the most competitive men's field we've seen in the pole vault for a very long time, and it's going to be very interesting to see how this one pans out with such a strong field, and if EJ can come out of this with a personal best, or to see if he can get past that 581 meter Philippine record up against such a strong field. I'd also like to take this time to acknowledge the 18 athletes that I'm currently coaching online at the moment, a lot who are in the Philippines, and just a shout out to them for the hard work and effort that they're putting in towards training, despite being in such a mentally challenging, depressing COVID time where a lot of their peers are just deciding just to sort of roll over and just give up the sport, and we're seeing a massive deluge of people out of the sport at this point. But I'd just like to give time to acknowledge and acknowledge not just my group, but any group that's really toughing it out through this time and sort of trying to get in training sessions when everywhere's pretty much closed up due to the COVID. Yeah, and I've seen some very promising results. It's like when you kind of have a garden and you're basically growing a garden, being a coach, I guess, and you basically have to make sure that you water it every day and that you sort of make sure that you're making sure that the weeds aren't growing on the garden, and you're making sure that nothing's drying up, and everything's sort of growing, and it takes time and patience, but eventually you end up with quite a nice garden once everything's grown. So yeah, so anyway, I'd just like to round off this show now because it's been an hour and 6 minutes, and just thank everybody for tuning in tonight. And our next schedule should be on Thursday, depending on how much material we have. If not, then our schedule shifts to the weekend, Saturday or Sunday. We will inform you when we get closer to the date, but we probably will have a track talk on Thursday discussing 2 other virtual events that are coming up, and also updates on our performances from Filipino athletes, both in the Philippines and around the world. Okay, so again, thank you everybody for tuning in. Stay safe in these difficult times, and God bless. Thank you and good night.